Okay, strap yourselves in, because today we're diving deep into a Star Trek episode that really messed with my head.
Oh, yeah.
Parallax from Voyager.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you ready to explore some temporal mechanics and quantum singularities?
Absolutely. It's a wild ride, using the Voyager crew to show just how mind-bending these concepts can be.
Right. It starts off throwing a curveball right away.
Like what?
Voyager gets a distress call. It's coming from near a quantum singularity.
Oh, boy.
But get this, the ship in trouble turns out to be Voyager itself.
Whoa, that's some serious foreshadowing.
Yeah, I have to admit, it took me a while to catch on.
You and me both. But that's what makes it so clever, right?
Totally. It sets up the whole mystery. They're caught inside a quantum singularity, a collapsed star.
So dense that it warps space-time.
Right. And it creates all these temporal weirdness.
The episode actually uses a great analogy, comparing it to being trapped under the ice of a frozen pond.
Okay, I love that analogy. It makes it much easier to picture.
Yeah, that reflection above you, not someone else, it's you, distorted by the ice.
Makes sense. But there's one thing that bugs me.
What's that?
How did they not realize they were looking at themselves? Wouldn't their sensors pick up on that?
Ah, see, that's where the temporal anomaly kicks in.
Okay.
Inside the singularity, cause and effect get all jumbled up.
So like time travel stuff.
Think about that distress call. Voyager receives their own message before they even send it.
Whoa! So they're hearing their future selves calling for help.
It's a classic example of time going haywire.
No wonder they were confused. But there are other clues, right?
Absolutely.
Like that whole tractor beam incident. What was that all about?
Remember when they tried to pull the distressed ship out of the singularity?
Yeah.
Well, their own ship started shaking violently before they even activated the tractor beam.
Oh, right. So they're being affected by actions they haven't even taken yet.
It's like a ripple effect, but in reverse.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But even with those clues, it still took them a while to put it all together. And meanwhile, the situation is going from bad to worse.
Definitely. That singularity's not messing around.
Yeah, it starts to crush the ship, and they're running out of time.
You can feel the pressure building, can't you?
Totally. And to make things even more complicated, they're dealing with this whole Starfleet Maquis tension.
Oh, right. You've got former enemies forced to work together.
Exactly. Does that add another layer of difficulty to the whole situation?
Absolutely. It forces Janeway to confront her own biases.
You know, to trust people she might have considered enemies not long ago.
Yeah, it highlights how hard it is to integrate different perspectives.
Especially when you're in a life or death crisis like this.
Exactly.
And then there's the whole shrinking holographic doctor thing.
Oh, you gotta love the EMH.
Was that just for laughs? Or was there a deeper meaning there?
Well, it's a clever way to show the spatial distortions caused by the singularity.
So it's not just a visual gag?
Nope. The EMH, who's basically a program, is literally being compressed by the warped space-time.
So even something intangible, like a hologram, is affected by the singularity.
It emphasizes just how powerful and strange this phenomenon is.
Yeah, like the fabric of reality is being twisted.
Exactly. And it adds to the urgency.
Right. If the EMH is shrinking, what could happen to the crew?
Nobody knows.
Okay, so let's recap. They're stuck in a collapsing singularity.
Yeah.
Their holographic doctor is shrinking.
Yep.
And time is running out.
It's looking pretty bleak for Voyager.
Talk about a cliffhanger.
Oh.
But I'm guessing they find a way out somehow.
Well, how they escape is a whole other story, and we'll get into that in the next part of our deep dive.
I can't wait. Stay tuned as we explore how Voyager breaks free from this temporal prison.
And what they discover along the way.
We've got a lot more to unpack, so don't go anywhere.
This deep dive is just getting started. You know, it's amazing how this episode uses a quantum singularity, the scientific concept, to represent that feeling of being trapped by your own choices.
Ooh, I see it. It's like they're facing those consequences. But in this totally distorted timeline.
That's exactly it. And to escape, they have to retrace their steps.
Okay.
Find that crack in the singularity, the one they made when they entered.
But time's all messed up inside, right?
Yeah.
So how do they even know where to start?
Exactly. It's not easy at all.
No kidding.
But Torres, with her knowledge of warp tech and how the singularity works...
She's a lifesaver in this episode.
She comes up with this plan, saturate the event horizon with warp particles.
Sounds complicated.
Hoping it'll highlight the rupture.
The one they created.
When they first got trapped, yeah.
That's a long shot, right?
Definitely a gamble.
But it pays off.
They find the rupture, but it's way too small for Voyager to escape through.
Talk about frustrating. So close, yet so far away.
It's brilliant how they build the suspense.
Oh, yeah.
You think they've got it, then bam, another obstacle.
They can't just sit and wait for the singularity to crush them.
Nope, time's ticking.
So what do?
Torres, she's on a roll, proposes using this focused Dikeon beam to widen the rupture.
Essentially blasting a hole in space-time.
Precisely. But there's a catch.
Oh.
To position the beam, someone has to go out there in a shuttlecraft.
Into the singularity.
Right into the thick of it. A dangerous mission.
So, who volunteers?
Janeway, being the fearless captain she is, decides to go herself.
With Torres.
It's a risky move. That shuttle gets battered by spatial distortions.
Yeah, and they're running out of time.
You can't forget the tension between them, too.
Oh, yeah. Starfleet captain, Maquis engineer.
Forced to work together.
Any friction there.
It's fascinating to watch. Janeway's all about protocol and control.
Classic Starfleet.
But Torres, she's got this ingenious, unconventional approach.
Makes you wonder what would have happened if the roles were reversed.
Right. Could Torres have commanded a Starfleet crew?
Maybe that's a deep dive for another day.
Exactly. But back to the action.
Okay.
They think they've widened the rupture enough, then bam, another twist.
Yeah, now.
They see two Voyagers. Identical, one's heading for the rupture, the other's just holding position.
It's like a cosmic mirror image.
And they have to choose the real one.
How do you even begin to figure that out? I'd be lost.
Janeway, she's sharp, uses her memory of what happened before.
Okay.
Remember when Voyager first saw the rupture and started moving towards it?
Yeah.
Well, the ship moving towards it now, that's just a delayed reflection.
Like an echo from the past.
Exactly. The real Voyager's the one waiting.
Smart thinking. But it's not over yet, is it?
Back on Voyager, things are going from bad to worse.
The rupture.
It's collapsing fast. They won't make it through with just careful maneuvering.
Janeway always has a trick up her sleeve, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
What does she do?
She decides to take a more, shall we say, direct approach.
Oh, I love when she does that.
Remember that line? In command school, they taught us maneuvering a starship is delicate. Over the years, I've learned sometimes you just have to punch your way through.
I get chills every time I hear that.
It's pure Janeway, defying expectations.
Doing whatever it takes to save her crew.
And it works. Voyager blasts through that rift back into normal space.
Safe and sound.
But you notice there's no big celebration, no we made it fanfare.
It's like a quiet relief, a sense of we survived. Oh,
that's what makes this ending so powerful.
You can tell this experience has changed them.
Yeah, they escaped the singularity, but the consequences, they linger, especially in the relationships.
You know, like between Janeway and Chakotay.
Especially them.
All right, we're back, wrapping up our deep dive into Parallax.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the ending, it really left me thinking.
Oh, yeah. In what way?
They escape, right? They're back in normal space. But it's not this big happy ending.
No, definitely not.
Like this lingering unease. Did you feel that?
Absolutely. It's subtle, but it speaks volumes.
Right. Like they're free from the singularity, but the experience...
It changed them.
Totally. You can really see it in how the crew interacts, especially Janeway and Chakotay.
Oh, yeah, their relationship.
That scene where he asks her, would she have served under him if they'd been on a Maquis ship?
Man, that question.
I know, right? It's so loaded.
And her answer... or lack of one.
Yeah. One of the perks of command is I can keep some things to myself.
It just hangs there, that tension.
Doesn't it? It really highlights how fragile their alliance is.
They've been through so much together, but that underlying distrust...
Starfleet and Maquis?
It hasn't gone away.
No. You could feel it throughout the episode.
Building up to that final exchange.
You're in this new reality, forced to work together, but those old wounds...
They haven't healed.
Not completely.
And then there's the EMH.
Oh, yeah, can't forget him.
Still shrinking, his voice getting higher.
It's funny, but kind of creepy, too.
It is, right.
Like a reminder that even though they're back...
a normal space.
The singularity's effects are still there.
Lingering.
Makes you wonder, what else might be different?
Their perceptions, their memories.
Even their sense of reality.
Exactly. It's like the episode is saying.
Yeah.
Go through something like that, you're never the same.
It leaves a mark. Changes you in ways you might not even realize.
Deep stuff, huh?
It really is. So much to unpack here.
We've talked about time distortion.
The challenges of leadership.
The nature of reality.
What do you think is the big takeaway from Parallax?
For me, it's that reality, it's not as fixed as we think.
Okay.
The episode really makes you question those assumptions.
About time, space.
Your own perceptions.
There's always more to learn. More to explore.
More to discover about the universe and ourselves.
It's not just about the sci-fi spectacle.
Right.
It uses those elements to dig into deeper truths about us.
About being human.
Parallax does that so well.
Right.
Leaves you with more questions than answers.
Definitely.
Makes you think about choice, about trust, about perspective.
The mark of truly great science fiction.
It really is. It's given me a lot to ponder.
Like what?
Are our memories reliable?
Good question.
Is the future already set?
Who knows?
Could there be other versions of ourselves out there making different choices?
Living different lives.
Those are some big questions.
Questions philosophers have been asking forever.
And Parallax gives us a new way to think about them.
A fresh perspective.
It encourages us to embrace the mystery.
Keep asking those questions.
Keep exploring those possibilities.
The universe is full of them.
It really is, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Exactly. Never stop exploring.
That's a perfect way to wrap things up.
I agree.
So to all our listeners, keep diving deep.
Keep questioning everything.
And don't be afraid to challenge your own perceptions.
You never know what you might find.
You might even stumble upon your own temporal paradox.
And if you do,
let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into Parallax.
It's been a journey.
Thanks for joining us on this mind-bending adventure.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep those brains engaged.
See you soon.